So when I started developing my game model, I asked myself a very simple question: where are goals scored from? I wanted to know how are goals scored, how are they created, and what do the teams and players that score lots of goals do? So this was back in 2017-18 that I looked at it in the last time I looked, sorry, not the last time, but when I looked at my game model in a significant amount of detail. That season, Man City won the English Premier League, and they scored still a record 106 goals in that season, in a 38-game season. That's pretty impressive by anyone's standards. So I decided to look at the goals that Man City scored, and here is just a few of those goals for you to look at now. Some pretty fantastic goals within that clip there. And that was just a selection of the goals that Man City scored in that season when they got 106. Now, I think for me, that chip by Sterling in that last goal, the assist there was absolutely sublime. But was there anything that any of you noticed about the type of goals that were scored and where the pass or the last pass or the assist came from the pitch? And that was the question I asked myself. I wanted to know where the goals are scored from and where the assists were scored from. So I actually mapped out every single goal that they scored throughout the season. What you can see on the screen now in blue are where the goals that we saw in the clip, where those goals were scored from, and in yellow, where the assist was that led to those goals. Now, if you start looking at that map there, you can start to see a pattern. A number of these goals were scored in and around the 6-yard box. And you can see that a number of the assists were actually from inside the 18-yard box or the penalty area or very close to it. And so that got me thinking, okay, well, if Manchester City score goals this way, is it just the way that they play? Is it just Pep Guardiola's playing philosophy? Or do other teams also score goals in similar areas and assist from similar areas? So I next looked at the 2018-19 Premier League. This is some data that's been provided by Understat. In 2018-19, there were 4 scorers, 3 of whom shared the Golden Boot in the Premier League. Aubameyang for Arsenal, Mane and Salah for Liverpool, and Aguero for Manchester City. And you can see there the number of goals that they scored and how many of them were scored from open play. Now, I've been looking particularly at open play goals. Set pieces are vitally important and they form a different part of my game model. I wanted to specifically look at how my team should score goals from open play. And so we're going to focus on those. The maps on the left-hand side of the screen are shot maps. The different colours represent what happened to that shot, whether it was a goal, whether it was a save, whether it was blocked, whether it was missed. And the size of the circle just represents the likelihood of that goal being scored. Not whether it was scored, but the likelihood of it. And this is expected goal data. I'm not going to go into lots of that right now. We do later in the course. In the course if you decide to sign up for it. But ultimately, this is expected goal data. The maps on the right are the actual goals that those players scored. So top left, we have Aubameyang's shots, all of the shots that he had during the 18-19 Premier League season, and on the right, the actual goals that he scored. Same for Mane, Salah, and Aguero as we go down. Now, you might notice that a vast majority of the goals were scored from within inside the yellow boxes that the frames that I've put up onto the goals maps. So that's goals that are scored inside the 6-yard box and in the area directly in front of the 6-yard box. Okay, so this is some more information that I was gathering to learn about where goals are scored from. So as I just said, most goals are scored from the area between the goal line and the edge of the 18-yard area directly in front of the goal.